for the counter to go. The counter is going, which means the video is started. Hello, everybody. Today is day 157, and it's October 16th in the mundane world, but it is the 157th day that I started this wonderful, 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 wonderful journey of self-realization, efficacy, and understanding of hormones, which is probably very well overblown, but I wanted to just make another video. My last video was a little disturbing. That was on Friday, and as it turns out, I don't have it with me. Everything worked out well. My insurance company is awesome. We have awesome people. And while my case is being reviewed, they did go ahead and cut me a month's supply of estrogen, which on the new regimen is 2 weeks. And so they predict within a week to have the decision. And so all will be well. All will be well. I got my flu shot. The big news, I got my flu shot on Thursday. And this weekend it has been playing havoc with my body, jumping from system to system, little flu buggies. So I have not felt wonderful all day long, but I decided that it was time to get out of bed and do a little bit of makeup and act like I had a normal life, and we'll go from there. So here we're at, just about 2 minutes on the counter. A couple things going on. Someone had posted something on a Facebook page about how they were depressed about surgery. And you know, surgery to me is, for me to have, gender confirmation surgery, that's light years away. But in reality, a post by one of the Louisville folk, one of the gals, was kind of like, Noelle, if you're serious about having surgery, or if you're thinking about having surgery, in some cases it can be over a year to wait. And so it made me kind of take a real serious look and say, okay, well, where am I? If I was a year out, where would I be? And the requirements for that are just so astronomically above where I'm at right now, as far as things like cost and things you got to do, like electrolysis and laser, and as well as the paperwork side of things. It's so far away, and I can understand why someone would be depressed. And maybe if I let myself think about it too much, I'd get depressed. But I take some solace in knowing that I'm not there yet. I'm not at that surgery point. I'm not, you know what I mean? Even to say a year from now, October 2017, not a chance in hell. Some of the reasons that come to mind is, at this point in my life, I'm not doing real life yet. I hope to be doing real life in a month or two and start that. And so that, of course, takes a year. So again, you could kind of say, okay, well, start in November, and then November 2017, you could do it. From a financial point of view, the cost of surgery is like $23,000. And that in of itself is an obstacle. And looking at my health insurance will actually pay for half once I reach my deductible. And so if I was to time it right, I would pay $11,500, let's say $12,000. Well, again, how long would it take me to save up $12,000? And that's just the cost of the surgery. That's not flying to wherever the surgeon is. That does not include, I would assume, post-op care. I'm going to be on my back for a bit while my body heals. And because of my body weight and everything, I mean, this could be months being off work or on leave. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to that. So it's like, again, you kind of have to, well, how much time would it take me to get $12,000 for my surgery and let's say 3 months worth of my salary banked so that, for the time of period that I'm not going to be working 100%, I'll be on short-term disability. But again, I have to have the money to cover my mortgage. I have to have the money to cover my daughter's expenses. I have to have that kind of money set aside. And so it can be very, daunting. Definitely more than a year to save, maybe 2 years. I don't know. I didn't want to get myself depressed. I didn't want to think about it too much. But again, that's maybe $1,000 a year. That's 10 years to save for surgery. That's a lot of moolah, And there's some other things thinking about. The extra money that I had that I'm putting aside for an emergency fund. I was kind of tempted to start to pay off my college loans. And so rather than start to make half of an extra payment or a quarter of an extra payment every month, do I instead take that money and set it aside for surgery? I don't know. It's a thought. It's something to think about. So that's definitely right there. Another thought here, day 157. I'm always intrigued, and I don't know. I don't think it's definitely voyeuristic, but you see people who are in their transition, and they're a year, real life test or whatnot, and they look so good, and you're like, well, damn, what will I look like, and it's kind of like to look at the before pictures and then look at where they are now. They're like night and day, So it's a positive thing, I think, for me, because I want to know what's possible, And again, as the person once told me, the person that you are after your transition is not the person you are during your transition. Now, does that necessarily mean personality-wise or just appearance? I don't know. I'll find out. But again, it's kind of interesting to me, again, as I go through this process. And we have to live in the present moment. We have to live where we are today. But we can take solace in looking at where we were in the past and then kind of looking towards the future. Where will we be in the future? Que sera, sera. Nobody knows. The future will be whatever. I forget how the song goes. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. Que sera, sera. We never know what's going to happen. So we have to live in the present moment. And like I saw a Facebook thing about, there was a football player who died recently. 33 years old. And, you think about an athlete and, how healthy and fit they are. And life happens. You have a heart attack or something happens to you that's unexpected. And so to kind of say that I'm going to be happy one day or I'm going to be happy a year from now. If I was further along in my transition, if I had bigger breasts, if my face looked a little different, to say those things, it holds a little bit of water. But again, we got to live in the present moment. And for certain, there are some things that transition is not going to help you solve. you know, if you were an asshole before you transitioned, you might be a bitch when you get done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you gotta be realistic. So, and really, that's about it. This is the longest I've felt human this weekend because of my flu stuff. So I'm gonna have to end the video soon. I'm almost out of time anyway. But again, I just wanted to kind of give a status update, day 157. You know, I don't know when the next big milestone will be. I think I mentioned in a couple videos ago that, you know, I believe from what I've seen, there's some point between the 5th month and the 9th month where on average a male to female crosses a threshold and they begin to look more and more feminine. And I don't necessarily think I've crossed that threshold yet, but it's just that initial, you begin to see more and more of, oh, you appear more feminine than masculine. You know, so that's probably on the horizon, but, you know, good Lord, I don't know when for me, but again, that's on the horizon. That's probably the only thing I can think of. My goal is to go full time. You know, I used to say October, but now I'm leaning more towards November or December. You know, I'll know when it's ready, when it's right. Things are happening at their own pace. So just one day at a time. All right, my friends, that's all I got. Good luck to you in your pursuits, and thank you for the bandwidth here. It is what it is. All right, good luck.